What's up guys, I'm going to show you how to create N8N AI agents as a beginner. So we're not going to worry too much about the specific use cases, but we're going to focus on the key concepts of bridging the workflow together and putting the agents together. And yeah, so we'll build 3 different agents. It'll just go from easiest to most complex. And the most complex one is not even going to be too complex either. But by the end, you should understand the building blocks of how to create, I'd say probably about like at least 60% of AI agent use cases. If you want the workflows, they'll be in the link down below. If the video helped you, then leave a like. I'll jump into some foundation stuff and then we'll build some agents. I'll just show you guys these nodes, and these aren't all the nodes in N8N. I think there's like 400 nodes in N8N. But these are just the main ones that we'll use or that you should get familiar with. And you can just think of N8N like building with Lego blocks, right? Each color has a specific job and then you just combine them to make powerful automations. And so we'll start at the start. So the triggers. So basically every automation needs a trigger. Any of the nodes with these lightning bolts on it, that just means that it triggers the workflow, or that it's supposed to trigger the workflow. So let's say someone submitted a form, then that triggers the workflow. Or you want it to run, at a certain time on a certain day, then it'll run on a scheduled trigger. From a trigger, it's basically free game. You can have whatever. These are just data transformation and logic nodes. So if you get raw data, it might be messy or it can be messy. And these just help us to clean it up and, get it ready for whatever's next. You can just think of it like washing your vegetables before you cook. You don't have to do it, but it's good to. Let's say this markdown node, for example. If we scrape a website and it returns as HTML, then we can use this markdown node here to convert the HTML to markdown. Let's say this edit fields here. This will allow us to, set fields, and then later on in the workflow, we can use it as expressions. And, some of these just have it in the name. So, aggregate, remove duplicates, and then a limit. And so we'll move on. So these nodes here, flow and core. So these make decisions. You can just think of them as like the traffic light system for your automation, or the traffic controller of your automation. So let's say we have an automation that scores a lead, and then if a lead is a high scoring lead, then we can have it go on the true, and if it's false, then we can have it sending to a nurturing campaign or something. And then for example, if we're using an API and automation and we don't want to hit our rate limits, then we can use a wait node, just like a pause step in the automation. So now app actions. So these nodes let us integrate directly with these services and softwares to perform actions. And so like I said, there's 400 plus direct integrations, but these are just some of the ones that you should get familiar with if you're going to build AI agents. So as you can see, this Gmail node here will send a message for us. This Airtable node here will update the record. This Telegram will send a message. This Google Calendar node will create an event. And also I'll add the request node and app actions as well, because anything that doesn't integrate directly with high level, you're probably you will have to use a request node. So the AI agent, there's a lot of different AI nodes in N8N. These are the 2 that I mainly use. You can just think of an AI agent as a smart assistant that can dynamically choose what tool it needs to use depending on what task needs to be complete. And, unlike a fixed workflow, that follows the same steps, an AI agent can adapt dynamically to whatever information is returned and, what needs to be accomplished. And so the basic LLM chain, I guess you can think of it as another AI agent, but I just use it for like simple things that need to be done, mainly for like classification, just because it's simple and fast. So in our builds, you'll see these work together. I have tried to use most of the nodes that we're going to be using in these builds. Okay, so let's get into our first build. So sign up or log into your N8N account. Once you're in, just hit create workflow. For our first build, we'll just be creating a real estate lead scoring system. A lead will fill out their form, and AI will analyze their answers and then determine whether they're a hot lead, a warm lead, or a cold lead. So for our trigger, we'll be using a on form submission. So remember, if we come back to the nodes, you can see this one over here, on form submission. So for the fields, I just got name, email, phone, budget, timeline, and property type. So what I'll do is I'll just test it. So click on execute step. So I'll submit that. So you can see we've got our answers here. So what we'll do here is we'll just pin it. Easy way to do it is just press P on your keyboard. And so from there, we'll add in our AI agent. So go plus AI agent. And just click on this one here. And so our source for prompt will be defined below. And so a prompt or user message So a prompt, like the one where you define like the role, the task, the context, you can put that in here, but it's better to put it in the system message because that's how the agent's gonna act, right? But the prompt will be our message as the user to the AI agent. And so our message to the user will be the form information, right? So we'll go form information and we'll click on expression. And so before we move on, using expressions is actually a really key part of automating. Using expressions allow us to use dynamic variables, and they're pretty essential in actually, achieving automation. Let's say if we were to say like our form information and we had it on fixed and we just said name, dimension, like that's not going to be automated, right? Because you want the workflow to run on itself. So if we drag and drop this name in here and we remove that, whatever value it is, then that's what's going to appear. So you can see what the expression is and you can see what the result is over here. So we'll give it the rest of the information now, and then we'll go ahead and map out all these details here from the form. So name, email, phone, budget, timeline, property type, location, and then submitted it. And then if you see the result, you can see it's mapped all our information here. So if I was to fill out the form again, so Bob, Rob, and then put my email again, I'll just put a different phone, budget, timeline, property type, mention, location, real, road. Okay, and then we submit that. And then if we come back to the AI agent, you can see the information is different. So that's basically how it allows us to achieve automation, because every time it runs, expressions are going to be different. And so for our system message, I already got on here, but I'll just paste it in. We'll make this bigger. It just says you're an expert real estate lead qualification specialist. Analyze the provided lead data and assign a comprehensive lead score from 0 to 100 based on the following criteria. Then it's just got scoring criteria. So the budget, the timeline urgency, the location specificity, contact quality, additional qualifiers, penalty points, and then response format. So, and then you can just see the scoring tier. So it'll output if it's a hot lead, a warm lead, or a cold lead, and then just the response format. So we'll copy this, and we need to switch on this require specific output format. And so we'll click on output parser, we'll go structured output parser, and then we'll just paste that in there. And then for our chat model, we'll use OpenRouter. So let's go OpenRouter chat model. We'll most likely be using OpenRouter for the LLM for all our agents in this video. So I may as well show you how to connect it. So you just need to come to openrouter.ai, and so create an account or login, and then you need to come to credits, and you need to add in at least $5 worth of credits. And once that's done, come to API keys, create your API key. So create the API key, and I'll just go agents tutorial, hit create, copy that, hit create new credential, and then paste in your API key and hit save. And then that's connected there. And then so for the model, we'll use GPT 4.1, and there's a bunch of other settings you can choose for your AI agent, but I'll talk about that in a different video. So if we send this through the AI agent, you can see that it's determined that we are a hot lead. So from here, what we'll do is we'll add a switch. If we click plus, and then if we come to flow, you can see there's a switch here. And if we come back to the nodes, you can see in flow and core, we got a switch. Click on switch and connect it to the AI agent. And so we need to add in 3 routing rules. And so that just means that it can go down 3 of these paths depending on what we make the rules as. And so for each of the values of these rules, we're going to put qualification tier. You can put your lead score and have it filter through the different scores. So like from, 0 to 20 or something. But since we're just having it come out as a cold, warm, or hot lead, it's just easier to use the qualification tier as the first value. And so we'll put that in each value 1. And then for the value 2, what we need to put is exactly what will be returned from the AI agent. So if we come back to the AI agent and we come to the system message, and we scroll down, we can see that each of them are going to be put out as hot lead, warm lead, and cold lead. And both the starting letters are capitalized, so that's what we need to put in the switch. So hot lead, warm lead, and then cold lead. And you can rename the outputs if you want. I'll just go hot, warm, cold and that doesn't do anything. It's just when we come out here, it just allows us to see what route it's going to go through. And so since it's a hot lead, it's going to go through this first route, and then from there we'll just send an email. So we'll go Gmail, and then we'll go send a message. So I got a video on how to connect your Google Cloud. It's a bit of a process. So if you're on the cloud hosted version, then it should be just as simple as hitting create new credential and then logging in with your Gmail. But if you're self-hosted, then I've got a video on how to connect it. So you'll probably be sending this to like your sales team or something, since it's a hot lead. So we'll just rename this to sales team. The two will just be their email, but I'll just use mine for this. And then the subject, we'll come to the on form submission. We'll grab the name, and then we'll go back to the AI agent, go hot lead. So you can see the subject will be Bob Rob hot lead. And then for the email type, we'll change it to text. And then in the message, we'll change it to expression, and we'll come back and we'll just go at the top, we'll go recommended action immediate. So drag the recommended action in there, budget analysis, and then we can just go notes. Obviously you can have it send whatever you want. I'm just having it send this, and also want to teach you guys, how to do this. So I'll hit execute step. So if I check my email, you can see we got Bob Rob hot lead, recommended action immediate call, budget analysis, budget matches or above local market for mansion, likely strong purchasing power. Then notes, ready to buy next week with a specific street and a complete contact set, high quality lead with strong urgency. And then if you just want to remove this little attribution at the bottom down here, come back to your workflow, click on your Gmail node, go add option, go append N8N attribution, switch that off, and then we'll send it again. And then you can see we got the email with no little attribution at the bottom. And so from there, what you can do is add your warm and cold leads to, different nurturing sequences or whatever your client would want that person to do. So for now, we'll just add it to a sheet. So we'll go sheet, Google Sheet, we'll go append row and sheet. And so we'll head over to sheets. And so I just created a form with the name, the email, the phone, the budget, the timeline, the property type, the location, the lead score, the lead determined, and the urgency level. And so we'll just rename this to real estate lead score tutorial. And so if we come back to N8N, so our document will be what we just named it. So real estate lead score tutorial. And then the from this will be sheet 1. So to map it out, what we'll do is we'll just connect this line straight to the Google Sheet so we can have the information. And so we'll go name, email, so drag and drop the fields. So name, email, phone, budget, property type, timeline, location. And then we'll get these 3 from the agent. So lead score, qualification tier as lead determined, and then urgency level as immediate. And so if we send this through to the sheet, we'll just use that as a placeholder for like a maybe a nurturing campaign. Then if we come back to the sheet, you can see that it's put all our information through. And then maybe you'd have the cold leads going to another nurturing campaign sequence, and it'll just be the same thing but for a different campaign. And so that's our first agent. Pretty simple. Like I said, I just want to show you guys how to put these together. So next, we're going to do a personalized cold email agent. And so basically what it'll be able to do is read the prospect's data and take the information from their website and create a personalized email for us. And so once again, not the use case, but showing you guys how to connect these tools together for, maybe something else you guys might want to use in the future. So for our first step, what we'll do is we'll get it from Google Sheets. So let's go Google Sheets and we'll go on row added. Okay, and so I just created a sheet with first name, last name, email, title, and then organization, website URL. So I'll just go Dementry, Higgins, put my email, I'll put my title as owner. For the website URL, I'll go like, what should we personalize? Let's do a gym. Okay, and so I'll use this gym here. It's IHF Health Club. So we'll come back to N8N and we'll choose that sheet that we just created. So personalization and then table 1 or sheet 1. So we'll fetch the test event. So you can see it's got my information. So what we'll do from here, I'll just pin that. So from here, what we'll do is we'll add a fire crawl node. So if you don't know what Firecrawl is, it's just like a tool made for scraping websites. So the action we're going to choose is scrape a URL and get its content. So let's head over to Firecrawl. So sign up if you don't have an account. Once you sign up, you'll have your API key here. All you're going to do is copy it and hit create new credential. And you're just going to paste it in there. And then we'll just hit save. After we connected our account, what we need to do in URL, we need to put the organization website URL in there. And then we'll just execute that step there. And then you can see what's returned. So for those of you who don't have the Firecrawl node, you have to use a request. So we'll go request as well. We'll come back to Firecrawl and then we'll go to the documentation. So in overview, click on documentation, and then we'll change this usage to curl. We'll just click copy, and then back in the N8N, you just need to click on import curl, paste it in, hit import, come back to your home page, copy your API key, and you'll paste it in here after bearer space, and then your Firecrawl API key. And then in the JSON body, as in the URL, you'll remove this, and you need to switch on expression. And then you need to drag and drop the organization website URL in the URL. And then for the formats, you need to pick one, either HTML or Markdown, and we'll choose Markdown. Just hit execute step again, and you can see we get the same thing. And so what we need to do from here is give this information to an AI agent. So once again, go plus AI and go AI agent. And then the source for prompt will be defined below. I got my own user message, so I'm just going to paste it in. And you can just see it says user's name, the gem's name, the recipient's title, the website scrape returned, the Firecrawl website description, and then just some notes for the agent. So emails must never contain an M- or you'll be fired. And then we got placeholders are there for context, always use the information. So that'll make sense once we put the system message in. But what we need to do now is map out the prompt. So the user's name will be the first name and the last name. So put a space between there. So you can see user's name on the results. And then the gem name, I don't have the gem name. So let's go gem name. I'll just put the gem name in. So I'll have to get that information again. So unpin that, deactivate that, send that through. So you can see got the gem name now. So we'll just pin that and we'll scrape the website again. Come back to the agent, come back to your user message, close the Firecrawl node, open the sheets trigger, and then we can put the gem name and the gem name. Recipient's title will just be the title here. So I said that I'm the owner. I'm not the owner of the gem, by the way. And then the two other pieces of information we're giving it is what we'll scrape from the website and the website description. So come back to the Firecrawl node, and then we'll just grab this markdown here. And we'll put that in website scrape return and then the website description. So if we come here to the metadata, you can see we've got description here. So what we can do is just put one of these in there, but it looks like it's the same. So we'll just go with this one with the colon. And then you can see on this right hand side, it's just got what was returned from scraping the website. So if we check out the website, you can see you've got your everyday luxury, start benefiting from your everyday luxury today, and your everyday luxury, start benefiting from your everyday luxury today. So yeah, it works. And then we'll just switch this on for now. Require specific output format, but from there we'll go add option and we'll go system message. Basically the system message is how we want the agent to behave. So I'll just paste in my system message. You know, once again, I'm showing you guys how to create these sort of agents and automation so that you can create them for yourself, but you don't have to follow this exact system message. But yeah, so you can see we just got you are an AI email copywriter specializing in cold outreach for gym owners. Your job is to write a personalized cold email offering AI receptionist and automation services. And then we just got a writing style, important formatting rules, and then just the email structure. And then so we got opening, a problem identification, a solution presentation, social proof and credibility, a clear call to action, and then a sign off. And then we just need to map out one thing in here. So we need to put hi, and then come back to the Google Sheets trigger and put the user's first name there. And then you can see at the bottom, we're just telling it to return this exact JSON. And so we'll copy that, and what we'll do is we'll come to output parser, the structured output parser, and we'll paste that in there. So we also need to connect our chat model. So we'll go with open router again. Router chat model, and we'll just use GPT-4 mini for this. And so we'll send that through, and then you can see it's created a email for us. So if we checked it out, it says ever missed a lead because you weren't at the gym. Then we got hi Dimitri, does this sound familiar? You've got potential members trying to reach you after hours, whether it's through phone calls, Instagram DMs, or that chat on your website, but no one's available to respond. It's frustrating, right? You're providing a top-notch experience at IHF Club, but what about those moments when you're not around? Imagine someone desperate to sign up for your cutting-edge primer classes or just wanting to learn more about your facilities, but they hit a dead end because they can't get an answer. And so if we go primer, let's have a look for primer. You can see it scraped the functional group fitness and it found this primer classes and used it in the personalization. But then from there, what we'll do is ideally you'd probably send it to like instantly or something if you're going to do a cold email outreach campaign. But just for this, we'll use Gmail. So Gmail, and we'll go send a message. And then the to, you have to get that from the Sheets trigger, and that'll be the email. So the person's email that we're sending it to. The subject will be subject. And then put the email type as text. And then put the body as message. So if we send that through, you can see that I just got a email here. Something just messed up with my recording, so I don't know where I was. But obviously if you're going to do outreach, you're probably going to do it with more than one lead. So it's not really automated if we can only do one person at a time, right? So basically what we're going to do from here is, so I just got the Sheets trigger. I've got 2 leads here from before it was just the one. So what we'll do is before the scrape, what we're going to do is use a loop. So loop over items, and you can put your batch size however big you want. There's definitely a concurrency limit with Firecrawl. So I'd say just stick to 1 if you're going to use this, but it's up to you. You might get a paid version of Firecrawl or use a different scraping service. But from there, you want to connect your loop route to the Firecrawl. Then you want to connect your send a message back to loop over items. And so what that's going to do is, so there's 2 items coming from the trigger, and then it's going to send 1 item through. It's going to create the personalized message, send the message, and then it's going to send the second item. And then obviously however many you have in your sheet or that you want it to send through. So we'll execute the workflow. So you can see the first one was sent. This one was for IHF. So does it sound familiar? You're at the end of your day, the lights are dimmed at IHF, and while you're getting ready to head home, people are trying to reach out to you through your website, Instagram DMs, or even calling your gym, but they get no response. It's a missed opportunity, isn't it? You've created such a remarkable space for health and wellness and community at IHF. And then the second lead was for Inception. So then we've got hi Higgins. So I said my first name was Higgins in the sheet. Does it sound familiar? You've got interested potential members reaching out to Inception through phone calls, Instagram DMs, and website chats. But when everyone is gone, those leads can vanish just like that. It's tough balancing all the demands of a 24/7 operation, isn't it? With your gym being open 24/7, it's likely you miss out on a ton of opportunities during those quiet hours. Imagine all those people hitting you up after hours, just waiting for a response that never comes. And then some points. Yeah, that's basically how you can send personalized emails. Obviously the copy can be better, but now you have, the tools and the knowledge to create this system if you wanted to. And so finally, we'll just create a plumbing support agent. It's going to be a multi-agent system. It's probably a little bit overkill, but once again, I'm showing you guys the architecture of it. And then when you need to apply it, you will know how to. So our trigger is going to be Gmail. And so Gmail's only got 1 trigger, which will be on message received. So I'll send an email so we can have some information to work with. Okay, so I just send my email. You want to have simplify off, and we'll click fetch test event. So yep, you can see I got my email here. So hi there, my bathroom sink has been draining really slowly for the past week. Now it's completely backed up and won't drain at all. I tried some drain cleaner, but it didn't help. Can someone come take a look? I'm available most weekdays afternoons. Thanks, Lisa Chen. Okay, so what we'll do from here is we'll just pin this trigger so that we don't have to get it again. So what we're going to add next is going to be AI, and it's just going to be basic LLM chain. So if we come back to the notes, remember I just had it here. And so the sourceful prompt will be defined below. It'll pretty much always be defined below if we're using anything that's not like a website chatbot that's integrated through N8N. But our user message is just going to be the email. So we'll close the headers. We have an option of sending it through in text or HTML. We'll just use the text. So, we can send the subject as well. May as well. So subject, email. And then the subject should be in headers, is underneath headers. So here, subject, there we go. And then what else we're going to do is in this, we're going to go add prompt. And then the name or ID is going to be system. And then in the message, we'll go expression. We'll open it up and I'll paste in my prompt. So it just says email intent classifier. Your role is you're an email classification specialist that categorizes incoming customer emails for a plumbing business. Then we just got the task. So analyze the incoming email and classify it into exactly one of these categories. So emergency, estimate, maintenance, and billing. And then just some criteria for the classification. And then it should output only the state, or not the state, only the category that it classifies it as. Go model, go open router, and we'll use 4O mini. So 4O mini. So we'll send that through. And you can see it decided that it was a maintenance email. So I'd say, yeah, that's probably maintenance. From there, what we're going to do is we're going to add a switch. So switch is probably the best routing node there is, because obviously you have all the routing logics in one node. So you can probably just use the switch in most cases. But now in our switch, we're going to need to add in 4 routing rules. Because if we come back to the intent classification agent, you can see there's emergency, estimate, maintenance, and billing. So those are the 4 routing rules we need to add in. So we'll add in 4 rules. The first value is always going to be text, because that's what the agent will output and that's what it'll be equal to. So the expression will be equal to that value. So for the first one, since it's maintenance, we may as well chuck it in there. So maintenance, and then put the text in all 4. It needs to be all capitals too. So maintenance, emergency, estimates, and then we'll go billing. I'll rename the outputs again. So we'll send that through. And you can see it gone through maintenance. So from here, we'll add in an AI agent. Once again, the source for prompt will be defined below. I'll just paste it in, but it's pretty much the same, but we're just giving it the email that it's from. And so from there, what we'll need to do is switch on the require specific output format, and we'll add an option, which will be the system message. I'll paste in the system message, and you can see that it just says that you are a maintenance specialist who handles routine plumbing repairs and service calls. You focus on providing friendly, helpful service for standard plumbing issues that don't require emergency response. And then it's just got your expertise, response guidelines, the scheduling information, and a knowledge base usage, and then just the response structure. So we'll copy this response structure for now, and then we'll come back to output parser, go structured output parser, and paste that in here. And then for our chat model, use open router. We'll just go with GPT-4o. And so I'll just rename this to maintenance agent. So rename that there. So we'll send it through the maintenance agent. So you can see it says, "Hi Lisa, I'm sorry to hear about your clogged bathroom sink. It sounds like a classic blockage that might need a professional touch since the drain cleaner didn't work. We can certainly send someone over to help." So from there, what we'll do is we'll add a Gmail node again. So Gmail, and we'll go reply to a message so that it can reply in the same thread. We'll grab the response message and we'll put that in message, and change the email type to text, and then the message ID will just be this ID here from the Gmail trigger. So let's execute that step. And then you can see in that same thread that I sent the message, I got the reply. So just what we read before. So from there, what we need to do is add in the 4 separate agents for emergency, estimates, and billing. So I'll go ahead and add that in. Okay, so I just added all these agents in, and basically it's all the same user message, but the system message is different. So this is the emergency agent. So it just says you're an emergency plumbing response specialist for a professional plumbing company. You handle urgent plumbing emergencies that require immediate attention and fast response times. So it just has the response guidelines on how it should react to an emergency situation, and once again, how it should respond. And then, so for the estimates agent, just telling it that it's an estimates agent, and then the response guidelines on how it should respond to estimate and quote queries. And then we've got the billing agent. So come to the billing agent, click plus on the tool. This one will be Airtable. So search Airtable, so Airtable tool. And so it'll be from a table that I created. So plumbing, the table will be customers. So if you don't know how to connect your Airtable account, we'll head over to Airtable. So log in or create an account. So I've already created my table, so you can see that I've got a customer here. He's got a invoice number here and just information about his job that was done. So to get our Airtable credentials connected for that, we need to click on our icon, come to Builder Hub, click on Create Token. We'll just go to Tutorial, and then the scopes we need to add in is all the record data and comments scopes, and also these base schema scopes as well. And then you just need to go ahead and add your basin. So for me, that was plumbing. So I'll click Create Token, copy that. You probably want to put it somewhere safe, otherwise you won't be able to see it again. And then you want to click on Create New Credential and paste your access token in and hit save. The resource will be record, and then the operation will be search. So search there. And then our formula, what we want to put is, so we're going to filter the formula by the invoice ticket number. So you can see that column is called invoice number. So what we need to do is put this specific string in. So this just means that it's going to filter for the column invoice number, and it's going to match with the invoice number that's from the email. So if the customer sends through their invoice number in the email, then the AI will extract it for us and filter it with that email. So the billing agent is the same. The only thing about the billing agent is that because there's a tool attached to it, we need to tell it when to call that tool and how to call it. So you can see role in context, you are a billing specialist who handles customer account inquiries, payment questions, invoice disputes, and warranty claims. Your goal is to resolve billing issues professionally while maintaining positive customer relationships. And then just the response guidelines again. And then you can see here tools available, Airtable customer database. So you used to look up specific account information, payment history, and service records. And then knowledge base, reference for payment policies, warranty terms, and procedures. And then for the knowledge base, I'm just using a Google Doc. So if we go plus, we'll just go doc. So Google Docs. And then the resource will be document, operation will be get. So we need to go to that document. So you can see it's not much, which is why I'm using the doc. Our doc is just here, so in between the two slashes, so d/ and the /edit. So we'll copy that, we'll paste it in the doc ID, and we'll connect every agent to it. Okay, so we'll give it a couple tests. Okay, so this one's urgent, water everywhere in my basement. I just got home and there's water all over my basement floor. I think a pipe burst behind the water heater. The water won't stop coming out and I can't hear it rushing. Please help immediately. My address is 123 Oak Street. My phone is 5550123. Thanks, Sarah Miller. So we'll send that through. So you can see we got our response here. So thank you for reaching out to us, letting us know about your urgent situation. We understand that dealing with the burst pipe is highly distressing and requires immediate action. If it is safe to do so, please locate and turn off the main water supply to prevent further flooding. Be cautious of any electrical appliances that may be submerged or near the water. So we have dispatched the team and there will be a location at 123 Oak Street within the next 2 hours. Pricing information, our emergency call-out fee is standard market rate and our technicians charge an hourly rate for any labor involved. And so this one should be for the billing agent, and you can see we've got a received invoice number 2847, and you can see the invoice number here is 2847. So the agent should recognize that and then tell the customer why it costs that much. So I'll send that. Hello Robert, thank you for reaching out to us about invoice 2847. After reviewing our records, I can provide an explanation for the charges listed under additional parts. During your recent service, our technician discovered a faulty shut-off valve which is corroded and required replacement. This particular part was not included in the original estimate as the issue was only identified during the service. The valve replacement cost was $45. Moreover, the job required an additional 1.5 hours of labor to handle unexpected pipework behind the cabinet, which incurred $120 labor charge based on our rate of $80 per hour. Yeah, so that's that. You should know how to build at least like 60% of N8N AI agent use cases. You learn how to score and qualify a lead, generate personalized content at scale, and also how to handle complex customer support agents. So yeah, if you like the video, then like the video. Comment something else you guys might want to see. If you want to connect with me on LinkedIn. Like I said, I'm going to be putting out heaps of content around N8N and AI agents. So if you want to see more of that, then just hit subscribe.